The Healing Through Love podcast with Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson. In episode 93, Kristine Hewett discusses Adamus Nexus, a post-crisis support system for women survivors of domestic and family violence and sexual abuse.
One of the things that I think crops up a lot is, in fact, the word last night for the meeting was isolation. And it's so we can self-isolate sometimes because that's comforting and because we don't want to have to deal with things. And that can be good, but if you do it constantly, then you aren't facing things, one, but you're also not being a part of life and you're starting to become very remote and removed from people. But I can remember in my situation when I was going through it as a child, that what I did was I deliberately isolated because I wanted to get away from it. So, it's funny how you get these dichotomies. But there's a lot, I think one that comes out a lot is exercise, just the endorphins that you get from exercise. So a lot of ladies will say, I don't actually like having to exercise, but I know it does me good when I do it.
The Healing Through Love podcast with Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
Welcome to another episode of Healing Through Love. Each week, we share ideas, experiences, and resources to increase the awareness of domestic and family violence and to empower survivors to grow and thrive. We talk with experts who share their advice, or with people who have experienced abuse, no matter where they are on their journey. This is all about healing through love. And now, here are your hosts, Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to the Healing Through Love podcast. This is the space where stories of strength, resilience and transformation unfold. I'm your host, Rose Davidson, and I'm honoured to be your guide on this journey of empowerment and healing. Today we have a very special episode tailored just for you. Whether you're driving, sipping a cup of tea, or simply taking a moment for yourself, I want you to know that you're in a safe space. Healing Through Love is more than a podcast, it's a community, a beacon of hope and a reminder that you are not alone. In this episode, we have a guest who will share a story that resonates with the core of our mission, a story that illuminates the power of love, resilience, and the unwavering strength that lies within each of us. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let the healing journey begin. Before we dive into today's inspiring narrative, and a quick reminder for you, if you find value in our episodes, consider supporting us by subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your engagement helps us to reach more hearts and spread the message of healing. And today my guest is the lovely Kristine Hewett. Now, Kristine's going to be discussing with us how we can find our tribe so that we can all thrive. And Kristine has worked in the information technology industry for well over 35 years, and she has worked for multinational and national organisations in various sales, project management and delivery and leadership roles within Australia. Kristine is a strong advocate for the support and empowerment of women, and she's using her skills and experience to help others. She has mentored in the not-for-profit sector, as well as students studying social enterprise. Kristine is passionate about helping women to be the best they can be through peer support, resources, and community. And Kristine has been awarded numerous accolades within what she's been doing as a result of her work with Adamus Nexus. Sorry, hopefully I've got that right. We did practice it before. And she's been ACT Woman of the Year and finalist in 2004, the Edna Ryan Community Activism Awardee in 2023, the ACT Woman of the Year in 2023 finalist. She's been ACT Honour Roll inductee in 2023. She's also a TEDx speaker, and she's the joint winner of the Canberra Women in Business, a social impact Businesswoman of the Year award in 2022, as well as Women with Altitude Purpose-Driven finalist in 2021. My goodness, Kristine, that is such a lot to get my head around. This welcome and congratulations on all those awards and achievements.
Thank you. I don't like having to list them, to be honest, but they're all about the charity, which is Adamus Nexus. So I will be the spotlight for that. So I'm happy to take that on in that respect. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Adamus Nexus. What does it do? What's it for? What's its purpose?
Yeah, so my business partner and I, about 7 years ago, were trying to figure out a way that we could help women who had been through some things that we ourselves had been through. Both of us, unfortunately, have childhood domestic violence stories. And we looked at each other and we thought, while we're not perfect, we have been able to move on and to get on with our lives. And there are a lot of women who can't and are unable to. So when we sort of boiled down what has helped us, it came down to support, having that tribe, if you like, of support, that community. So we decided that we would set up a support group. Then we went, there'll already be heaps of that out there, we've missed the boat, sort of thing, to try and help. But when we looked, we actually couldn't find anything in the post-crisis support area. So there's heaps of prevention and education. There's many, many, many in-crisis services. And there's some services that sort of go just after to help, with women with things like budgeting or getting legal advice or, doing little things around the house that they may not know how to do, changing tyres, getting cars serviced, that sort of stuff. But nothing for that long-term lived experience, ongoing trauma that we could find. So we were like, okay, let's set something up. And that's what we did. And we've been going for nearly 6 years now.
Well, and you're right, there isn't a lot of post-trauma organisations out there. They mainly, whilst you're in the situation, support, and as you say, there's other things, but to deal with the trauma after the event is often quite difficult. I mean, it's all right, to go to counselling, but most times they want you to relive the whole process.
That's right.
And that's why I don't like counselling for myself, because they want me to, retell a story that I'm trying to forget about. And it's not helping me to deal with that. It's not giving me the support that I need to be able to live with the abuse and trauma that I lived through. So having an organisation like yours is obviously very helpful, and it's got to be of benefit to people that are coming out the other side.
Absolutely. There's research that shows that lived experiences are really powerful enablers to drive positive change and empathy and growth and recovery. So being with people, as you said in your intro, it's a community, it's knowing you're not alone, it's having that validation. People don't query what you're saying, they just accept it and sadly understand it, because they've often been through it themselves in one form or another. And it's just that unconditional love as well that you have with people who have been through it. But I think the main thing is, in fact, I ran one of the meetings last night, and one of the ladies was saying that, even though rationally that you can't be the only person that's been through what you're going through, until you actually sit with a group of like-minded people and hear their stories and the similarities, or the hold on, I've been through exactly that, or I feel exactly that way, or I have this really poor response mechanism to stress or trauma or conflict exactly like that person. It's like, then it becomes that light bulb moment that I kind of had when I went to a 12-step program before we did this, that makes you suddenly realise, okay, rationally, I might think I can be the only person, but in my heart, in my body, in my emotions, I now know that I'm not alone at all. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we're able to provide for the people who attend.
But I think that's a lot of problem, and it's not a problem, but it's, for want of a better word, that survivors go through, is that they They think they're alone. No one else is doing it. They don't have anyone to go and talk to about it that has this lived experience, because counsellors most often are just out of university. They've got all their counselling experience out of books. They don't have that lived experience. And having an organisation or a group of people that you can discuss your lived experience with, who can empathise and understand what you've been through, it's got to be so important.
Yeah. And we always say that we are complementary to any other services that our attendees are using. You know, some people might be seeing a counsellor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist. They might be in some other 12-step programs. They might be on medication through their GP. And we never sort of say, drop all that and come to us. We're like, come to us as well, because we provide something different. It's different again. And sometimes you need that. It's like multiple slices of a pie to get that whole that will help you in your particular requirement. You might need 3 slices of a pie, but some people might need 10 different slices in the pie. So we're always saying that you know, I'm not a counsellor. I don't have any credentials in that at all. I'm purely somebody who has lived experience myself. So I get it.
I sound like I'm bagging counsellors. I don't mean to.
No, not at all. And I mean, Kate, I'm seeing some myself at the moment, but you know, it's not for everybody. And as you say, if you do have to relive that stuff. And that's one of the things we actually say in our meetings is it's not actually a venue to talk openly about what happened to you, because we're trying to be very forward looking and thinking about, you know, what's happening in your life at the moment. So the way we structured the group, and it was very, very, very loosely structured around 12-step programs. And I'm not sure if people have heard of 12-step programs. The one that most people understand is Alcoholics Anonymous, but there's multiple ones that come off that and have a very similar format and layout, but are for different things. So what I attended was actually Al-Anon. So it's not for the alcoholic, it's actually for the people who, yes, are around the alcoholic, whether it's family, friends, workers, etc.
Because they want to help the families of alcoholics to navigate through the journey that it's so difficult for them.
That's right, like learning about boundaries and understanding that you've got certain ways of coping that may not be actually convenient or useful for you. Like I had the problem during childhood, so having those coping mechanisms in adulthood actually isn't helping me very much. So we very loosely based it on that sort of process, if you like, in that there is a standard format for every meeting, so that when women come along, there's no surprises per se. They know exactly what the meeting is going to entail. What we do is we have a focus word for each meeting. It might be resilience or denial, anger, isolation, rage. It could be any of those words. And then it's about how is that manifested for you? How have you dealt with it? What strategies have you used? And then listening to other people and maybe picking up something that you can try from them or whatever it might be. So as I say, it's a safe space. Everybody gets their opportunity to share. We have little discussions around it, and you know, that is the meeting, if you like. That's the way we run them.
Wonderful. I mean, a lot of us survivors have never learned how to cope, how to, you know, find those things that stop us from, you know, feeling anxious or feeling unloved or, you know, feeling not enough or, you know, all of those things. So having a place where you can go that lets you know that you are enough, that you are loved, that you are a person, you know, that you are worthy, it's got to be such a great thing. And let me ask you, have you plans on going national with this?
So when we started, we were both in Canberra, and we started with face-to-face meetings. So that was back in 2018. And there was always a longer-term plan to go online, because we wanted to be able to reach rural and regional communities, because it can be even harder for women to attend a face-to-face group there, because one, distance, and two, if you're in a small town, everybody knows everybody, and you might not want 5 women rocking up to a meeting and everybody going, oh, they're turning up for the domestic violence support group tonight. So it was always on a plan to go online, but of course COVID kind of came along and made that need to happen very quickly. We were very fortunate to get a grant, and we were able to get online safely, because I mean, you know what's involved in putting a podcast together. So we had to be very careful about how we set it up and make sure there was the safety and all of those things around it. So once we're online, then it did open it up to being national. And we do have a database which has people from probably every state and territory now. The majority still seem to be ACT because that is where we did the most of our initial work, going out and talking to all the services there, letting them know and see that we were passionate and this wasn't a fly-by-night thing. We were going to be here for the long haul. So we get a lot of referrals through them. We're on AFP's support link, for example, so we had to go through a process to get onto that. So it really sort of cemented that we're the real deal, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Absolutely want to get back to running face-to-face meetings, but I run the meetings at the moment and I can't be everywhere. I'd love to be, but I can't be. So the next sort of push we have is to try and engage with some of the other service organisations in this sector, in the DV sector, to see if we can work together to start utilising their services and some of their people perhaps to set up meetings and run them in different places. Also to get out to the regional rural areas so that we can have women joining online from those areas as well.
Yeah, you're right. The regional and rural areas, you can't just have a DV support group meeting because everyone will know then that what you're going through. And there's so much embarrassment, especially if you're a bit wealthier in the town and, or a bit more well known within the community. So, no one of that sort of caliber must be known that that they're being abused in one way or the other. Male or female for that.
And that's the other thing. I mean, we obviously are catering for women at the moment because statistically that's where the largest group of people is. But we did also and do still in our business plan have plans to see if we can spread that out to maybe using the same format by having men run it for men, because there are men victims out there as well, or specifically for specific cultural groups or LGBTIQA, for example. So that you can get that, again, it's like you've got the big tribe at the moment, which is, abuse, but then we can start to bring it down to those smaller, more specific tribes, if you like, so that they can have their own tailored version of it as well. It's a simple formula. We are more than happy for people to sign up with us and sort of utilize the IP, and we just want to help as many people as possible. Is the bottom line.
It's a great thing. I mean, as you say, proportionately women are the most abused in our society, but there are such a broad range of others that that suffer, and it's really good to know that there is or will become very soon a place that they can go to receive support, and and doesn't necessarily have to be face to face, because if you say you don't want to be known as a victim of DV and have everybody know about it.
And some people, we're actually talking about this last night. It's some people, their safe place is their home. They can be in bed, they can have the cat on the lap, they can have their cup of whatever their beverage of choice is, hopefully a coffee or a tea or a hot chocolate or something like that, and be really safe, and then have a safe online environment as well. Whereas other people are still asking us, when are you going back to face, because they like that environment as well. I'm a hugger, so I miss the face-to-face and being able to say at the end, hey, I really appreciated your share on XYZ. If you'd like a hug, I'd love to give you one, but not face-to-face at the moment. So I have to do the virtual hugs, which just aren't quite as good.
They're not. Yes, I'm a hugger too, and I miss when you go to things and you can't hug people.
I know.
So sometimes you have a podcast guest, you just want to reach out and give them a big hug.
I know.
Something so brilliant, or give us some nugget of wisdom, and you think, but no, you can't.
Yeah.
Kristine, tell me a little bit more about strategies perhaps that I know you don't give that sort of thing, but what strategies have you heard that people are using to overcome this feeling of abandonment and get through this trauma?
So one of the things that I think crops up a lot is and in fact the word last night for the meeting was isolation, and it's so we can self-isolate sometimes because that's comforting, and because we don't want to have to deal with things, and that can be good, but if you do it constantly, then you aren't facing things, one, but you're also, you know, not being a part of life, and you're starting to become very remote and removed from people. But I can remember in my situation when I was going through it as a child, that what I did was I deliberately isolated because I wanted to get away from it. So, you know, it's funny how you get these dichotomies. But there's a lot. I think one that comes out a lot is exercise. Just the endorphins that you get from exercise. So a lot of ladies will say, I don't actually like having to exercise, but I know it does me good when I do it. We've got one lady who's become heavily into art therapy, for example, to the point where she actually now is a practicing art therapist. So you can actually go to her and utilize art therapy. Yoga and meditation, they're always ones that pop up as well. It's almost like we have to just keep trying things until you find one that really sticks with you and that resonates with you and is something that not only you enjoy doing, but actually helps. Because some people do things, but they find at the end of the day that mental load with everything that we think about and all of the memories doesn't get helped sometimes by doing these things. So I think then it's like you've got to keep trying other stuff, and you might find it's something weird like playing a ukulele. I don't know. It could be anything, but it's finding, as I say, it's almost finding that those other little tribes that can help support you as well, whether it's playing touch football or doing a yoga class or a drawing class or whatever it might be. Flip side of that is sometimes when that mental load is so heavy and people are struggling, it can be really hard to make room to try and do anything else either. And I get that, because there are days when I'm just like, I just totally shut down and I'm like, not leaving the unit today, don't want to talk to anybody, not even going to respond to any texts or anything, not going to troll social media, just going to veg. I'm just going to veg, and that's my thing for today.
Yeah,
and for me, that's okay for a day or two. But if I stay there too long, my friends now know, because I've told them, come and pull me out. Don't leave me in there too long because I can get stuck.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, we try to keep ourselves physically safe during the trauma period and post-trauma period. We just try and keep our body safe, but we quite often forget our mind. We forget, that our mind needs to rest, and it needs the freedom to unload all the crap that's in there. And so things like yoga and painting and gardening is my thing. If I want to get overloaded, I'll go out in potter around with my pot plants, and do stuff with that, because it makes me feel grounded. And there's things that you have to do to not only relieve your body and keep your body safe, but I think your brain, your mind is heaps more important, because if that's all cluttered up and shut down, you can't function.
Yeah, that's right. So, well, I would certainly recommend, if people haven't tried coming to a group like this, and I'm not suggesting it has to be our group, of course, but try finding a group like this where you can even just sit and listen, because you don't have to talk when you come to our meetings. Sometimes at the beginning we just get people to just say their name and how they're feeling, and they might be feeling nervous, or they might be feeling stressed, or they might be feeling happy or tired, whatever. But they don't have to do a share. They can just sit and listen, and sometimes that can be enough for people to hear what's going on in other people's lives and sort of start to feel that comfort in knowing that they're not by themselves.
Give them that opportunity to start to heal, because a lot of even now, I mean, and I'm like well over 60, I still haven't healed from trauma that happened to me as a child. And sometimes you never heal, but it's knowing that there's a safe place for you to go to, where no one judges you, and you can just find ways to be present in the moment. I think that's got to be such a benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as you say, one of the ways I think about trauma is, it's like you've had some injury to your skin and you've got a scar. And yes, you could get plastic surgery so that it can't be seen, but structurally underneath, it's never going to be the same. So it is And I don't like saying that trauma is with you forever, but it kind of is, but it's how you manage it. It's like, it's not what people say to you, it's how you react to it. So, and it's easy to say, but I'm not saying it's easy to do, by the way. And what we hope is that when people maybe stop attending our meetings, that they don't need us at the moment. And that's fantastic, because, it's like this. You can be going smooth sailing for a while, and then something will trigger you and you'll go, whoa, and things will, backpedal for a bit. And it's like, okay, come to a couple of meetings, top yourself up, get that warm fuzzy again, and then take off again for a couple of years. And that's what I found when I was going to the Al-Anon. It was the same. People hadn't been for like 10 years sometimes, but then something's happened and they're just feeling that need to come back to that tribe and just get that community and that connection and that corroboration, so that they can, pump themselves up again and go, okay, no, I'm good again. Now I can go back out.
Absolutely excellent. Kristine, where can people find you if they want to reach out to you and find out more about what the organisation's all about and how they can participate?
Thanks for that. So it's Adamus Nexus. It's a mouthful. Adamus is diamond in Greek, and it's all about unearthing the diamond within us, and Nexus is connection. So that's where it came from. So it's not just us plucking a weird word out of all the words in the world. So it's adamusnexus.com is the website. And on there's a meeting register button where you fill in a questionnaire, because we just like to make sure people are actually post-crisis, not still in the situation. And then once that's happened, you pop into our database and you'll get RSVP emails to come along to the 2 meetings that are held each month online. We're also on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn.
That's wonderful places to be looking for this organisation, Adamus Nexus, and really do take advantage of them and of the resources that they can offer you, and
try us.
That they can offer you, through your journey, because it's tough, and if you can find someone to make it a bit easier for you, go for it.
Absolutely.
Kristine, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks,
Thank you
Rose,
for sharing with us today about your organisation, and I wish you good luck and heaps of wellness in the future.
Thank you so much, and the same to you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Healing Through Love. You can get further resources, see the show notes, or simply reach out to us via our website at htlaustralia.org. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to your company next time on the Healing Through Love podcast.